of the event. The 36th edition of Kerala Science Congress evinces the presence of 2022 Nobel laureate in chemistry, Professor Morton P. Meldal, addressing the gathering. A celebration of science, innovation and collaboration, the Kerala Science Congress has through its many editions united Nobel laureates, eminent scientists and emerging researchers. It stands as a testament to Kerala's commitment to advancing knowledge, inspiring generations and driving discovery for a better future. The 38th edition of Kerala Science Congress is scheduled from January 30 to February 2, 2026 at St. Albert's College, Ernakulam, with the focal theme, Ocean Science for Blue Economy and Ecosystem Restoration. Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, advocating science and technology innovation in service of the state of Kerala.
Before moving on to today's program, all of us assembled here are requested to kindly stand and observe 1 minute silence to pay our homage to Dr. Madhav Gadgil, the famous ecologist and head of Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel. All are requested to take your seats.
Before we start the formal ceremony, we will now watch a short video showcasing the initiatives of KSCSTE.
Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, popularly known as KSCSTE, was constituted in November 2002 to encourage and promote science. Popularly known as KSCSTE, was Morton P. Meldal addressing the gathering. A celebration of science, innovation and collaboration, the Kerala Science Congress has through its many editions united Nobel laureates, eminent scientists and emerging researchers. It stands as a testament to Kerala's commitment to advancing knowledge, inspiring generations, and driving discovery for a better future. The 38th edition of Kerala Science Congress is scheduled from January 30 to February 2, 2026 at St. Albert's College, Ernakulam, with the focal theme, Ocean Science for Blue Economy and Ecosystem Restoration. Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment,
Principal Scientist, KSCSTE, Dr. T. Sajida Rani, Dean, College of Agriculture, Pathak, Dr. P. Sujanapal, Principal Scientist, KSCSTE, Kerala Forest Research Institute, Pichi, Thrissur,
Dr. Himanshu Pathak, Director General, International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, and the distinguished speaker of the day. Dr. Mini PK, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Engineering, College of Agriculture, Pathak, and convener of today's program.
Shri Chandra Pradap R, Scientist, KSCSTE, National Transportation Planning and Research Center, NATPAC.
commence the formal proceedings, we invite Dr. T. Sajida Rani, Dean, College of Agriculture, Pathak, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning all. The respected distinguished Director General of ICRISAT and today's chief guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir, Dr. Harinarayanan, who will be presiding the function, Dr. Sujanabal, Dr. Mini PK, Sri Chandra Pratap, and all the esteemed guests, including Dr. Hebbar, Dr. Suresh Kumar, Dr. Sri Kumar, and our retired ADRs, Dr. Chandraprakash Naik, Dr. Balakrishnan, Dr. Sujata, Dr. Sadish, and colleagues and dear students. Today we are all gathered here to celebrate the life and the lasting legacy of Dr. M. Swaminathan, the father of India's Green Revolution. We know that Dr. Swaminathan was a transformative scientist who refined India's future by dedicating his life to ending hunger. He advocated for sustainable agriculture, moving beyond high-yielding varieties to a model that increases food production without harming the environment. Dr. M. Swaminathan believed that the science must always have a soul and serve the smallest farmer. We are fortunate that in 2000, Dr. Swaminathan has visited this campus and he has written that this college, in his visitors wrote like this: I am confident that the faculty and alumni and the students of this college will help to make Kerala's agriculture prosperous and environmentally sustainable. So, moving to my role, it's my proud privilege to welcome the president of this function, Dr. Harinarayanan, Senior Principal Scientist of KSCSTE. Dr. Narayan plays a pivotal role in harnessing science and technology within Kerala, ensuring that innovation is backed by robust policy and environmental mindfulness. On behalf of the organizing committee, KCST and College of Agriculture, Pathak, we extend a warm welcome to you, sir. We are exceptionally fortunate to have with us today Dr. Himanshu Pathak, sir, as the Director General of ICRISAT, as well as former Director General of ICR. Dr. Pathak stands as one of the most prominent figures in Indian agricultural science. Prominent as a popular figure in Indian agricultural science. His work at ICRISAT focuses on empowering the world's most vulnerable semi-arid regions. Dr. Pathak, your presence serves as a vital link between Dr. Swaminathan's foundation work and the future of global food security. We eagerly look forward to your insights and we welcome you the most heartily. We also welcome Dr. Sujanapal, whose existing research spans the plant resources of the Western Ghats. His keen interest in endangered species, the conservation of endangered species, to urban planning, urban greening, mangrove ecosystem, and so on. Lot of works are there. So his contributions to biodiversity is immense. We are honored to have you, sir, with us today. I sincerely invite our colleague Dr. Mini, Professor and Head Department of Agricultural Engineering and the former Dean of this college, She took much pain for the conduct of this function in a befitting manner. A warm welcome to Sri Chandra Pratap from NATPAC. His participation shows that modern agriculture is deeply interconnected with logistics, infrastructure, and rural connectivity. We value your presence and support in this memorial event. We are so happy that our CPCRA Director, Dr. Hebbas, KP Hebbas is here It's my immense pleasure to welcome the former Dean, Dr. Suresh Kumar sir, the former areas of Cochrane Mission and areas of Pilicode, Dr. Jayaprakash Naik sir, Dr. Balakrishnan sir, Dr. Sadisan sir, Dr. Sri Kumar sir, we know that Dr. Swaminathan's enduring legacy was his conviction that science is the key to end hunger. I hope today's lecture will inspire you to act as guardians of our planet. So I once again, our technical support team. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. May we now invite Dr. P. Harinarayanan, Senior Principal Scientist, KSC STE, to deliver the Presidential Address.
Most respected speaker and the distinguished guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir, dignitaries on the dais, Dr. T. Sajida Rani, the Dean of College of Agriculture, Pathak, Dr. P. Suchanapal, Principal Scientist, Kerala Forest Research Institute, Dr. Mini P.K., Professor and Head and former Dean of Agriculture College, Pathak, Dr. Chandra Pratap R., dignitaries of the dais, including Dr. Hebba, the Director of CPCRI, and former deans, my dear friends, faculty members, and dear students. You all know that Kerala Science Congress is an annual event which is organized by Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. And this year it is a 38th edition. It started in 1989 when it was TEC, Science, Technology, Environment Committee. And it started as a platform for the youngsters basically to present their ideas, research ideas, innovations, to have discussions, to have mutual understanding of different subjects. Just think that we are hosting a science congress with 13 different subject areas, not one single subject. For the last 38 years, without any break, even during the COVID period, we were able to conduct the Kerala Science Congress online actually. So there was no break. And every Science Congress starts with memorial lectures since 28th Kerala Science Congress outside the main program. It's all started actually when Professor M. Swaminathan was the chairman of Kerala Science Congress. The 28th Kerala Science Congress, which was held in Calicut University. The chairman of the Science Congress committee was Professor M. Swaminathan, and I was the general convener at the time. Fortunate to be the general convener and work with Professor M. Swaminathan for that Kerala Science Congress. There we decided that the memorial lectures has to go outside the main venue also, so that it can be held in different parts of the state. Now we have 9 memorial lectures which is being held in different parts of the state. 5 memorial lectures are already over. We had one in Taliparamba, P.T. Bhaskara Panika Memorial Lecture, then one in Alua, then yesterday in Kollam. This way we are having in different parts of the state every year the memorial lectures to honor the visionaries of science and technology in the state. As you all know that Professor Swaminathan was a distinguished scientist. He had led the Green Revolution in India. He had been strengthening the nation with his ideas in different parts. In the late, after almost in the after 2010-11 period, he was actually supporting the Ministry of Environment and Forest in a different manner, that is coastal zone protection. He was the chairman of the committee to look into the coastal zone management rules and in India. And he has given an excellent report how to manage the coastal area and what we have to do in the coastal regions apart from the agriculture sector where he was working for a long time. So he was involved in the sustainable development of the country. You know that after Stockholm Conference, the then Prime Minister of India, Srimati Indira Gandhi, identified Dr. Swaminathan as one of the persons who can lead the country to have a sustainable development in India. So that way he has contributed immensely to the nation, and he has been contributing still his death to the nation by providing better and better scientific ideas to solve the issues in Kerala, in India. He was a strong supporter of Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. And to honor him, actually the state has awarded the biggest Science and Technology award of the state, Shastra Puraskaram, recently actually to him. And we are proud to tell that he was one of the countrymen who has led from Kerala, who has led the nation and brought the nation especially in the field of agriculture, where starvation has been almost nil. The young generation may not be knowing who he was, and I think Dr. Sujana will give a detailed light into the on Dr. M. Swaminathan. Now on Kerala Science Congress, as you have already seen, we have a focal theme every year, and this year it is basically ocean science for economic development and eco-restoration. It is not simply economic development, eco-restoration. The word is very clear that it was also an idea which was actually mooted by Professor Swaminathan in the CRZ reports. So country has to develop the coastal area, the blue economy has to be developed, but it should lead to a eco-restoration also. We have 13 subject areas. Especially last year it was held in Agriculture University campus in Trichur. We had a different subject. There also we had 13 subject areas. And agriculture science, different parts of agriculture sciences come together. Different group of earth sciences comes together. Chemical science, physical science, even scientific social responsibility, mathematical science. All the science subject areas come together to a venue and make presentation. This year it is starting on 30th of January. And it is up to 2nd of February. We have a mega program, actually the National Science Expo starting on 30th. On the same day we have a National Science Meet where all the science and technology institutions in the state of Kerala, along with the all R&D institutions, R&D councils, state science and technology councils in different parts of the country, along with the DST officials, Ministry of Earth Science, Ministry of Environment and Forest, all these scientists will be coming together and discussing on the problems where state science and technology can grow. On the day 2, we will be having the presentations in 13 subject areas, and either it's an oral presentation or the postal presentation, which will be continued on the 3rd day also. We have 2 memorial lectures, which is actually on the venue. Every year only 2 will be on the venue, and this year we have 2 on the venue. And it will be followed by a PG interaction on the day 4 and Walk with Scientists program. Every day we have a lot of other activities also. So I also welcome you all to the Kerala Science Congress, which is to be held at Cochin or Ernakulam St. Albert's College from 30th of this month. Thank you all for joining us. A special thanks to Agricultural College for hosting this memorial lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is our privilege to hear from Dr. T. Sujanapal, Principal Scientist, KSC-STE, Kerala Forest Research Institute, Thrissur. Sir, humbly requesting you to present a brief introduction to the life and contributions of Dr. M.S. Swaminathan.
Most respected Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir, a renowned scientist and Director General of International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics ICRISAT, Dr. K.B. Hebbar sir, Director of CPCRI, Dr. P. Harinarayanan, Senior Principal Scientist of Kerala State Council Science, Technology and Environment, Dr. T. Sajida Rani, Dean, College of Agriculture, Pathak, Dr. Mini P.K., Professor and Head, Department of Agriculture Engineering, College of Agriculture, Pathak, Sri Chandrapradap or Scientist or NADPAC, other dignitaries, and my dear friends, a very good morning and namaste to all of you. Today we heard the sad demise of our Professor Dr. Madhav Gadgil, like our Professor a legend like Professor M.S. Swaminathan, bore my heart with the fond memory of Professor Gadgil. I feel incredibly fortunate to stand before you today to introduce a well-renowned scientific stalwart, administrator, and a compassionate humanitarian. He is a visionary conservationist credited with saving millions from starvation through his landmark work. It is my honor to present the architect of our nation's agricultural transformation and the father of India's Green Revolution, Professor Dr. Mankom Sambashivan Swaminathan. I have been allotted 10 minutes to introduce the professor, so I have, as you all know, even an entire day would not be sufficient to elaborate on the monumental contributions. However, within this time limit, 15 minutes, I will attempt to provide a brief overview of his journey, spanning his education, early career, landmark scientific work, and global recognitions. On a personal note, I stand before this august audience with great humility and pride. I was fortunate to work directly under the professor's mentorship from 2018 to 2010 during my postdoctoral fellowship at the M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, Chennai, and its Community Agro-Biodiversity Center in Wayanad. Before I begin, I must express my sincere gratitude to our respected Director General Himanshu sir for providing essential literatures. I also thank Dr. Anil Kumar and Dr. B. Balakrishnan, formerly Executive Director of M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation and Director of Community Agro-Biodiversity Center, now with the Kerala State Biodiversity Board, for the valuable information, as well as other members of the foundation. They have generously provided many unknown treasures of information regarding the professor's legendary life. As you all know, Professor Swaminathan was born on August 7, 1925 in Kumbakonam, a temple city in Tamil Nadu, into a family with rich legacy in both academics and agriculture. His father, Dr. M.K. Sambashivan, a surgeon, and his mother, Srimati Parvati Thangamman, Sambashivan were deeply rooted in the farming traditions of Mangum in the Alappuzha district of Kerala. It is from his ancestral village that the distinguished name Mangum is derived. Professor attended local schools in Kumbakonam, where he excelled in his studies. Interestingly, he initially completed his undergraduate degree in zoology at the University of Kerala. However, witnessing the devastating impact of the Bengal famine and acute food shortage of World War II became a turning point in his life. Moved by this tragedy, he decided to switch to agriculture, even turning away from a prestigious selection in the Indian Civil Service, Indian Police Service, IPS. He earned his BSc Agriculture from the Agriculture College and Research Institute, Coimbatore, now the TNAU, and the Masters in Genomics and Plant Breeding from IAR, the prestigious IARA New Delhi. He later served as the UNESCO Fellow at Wageningen Agriculture University in the Netherlands, completed his PhD at University of Cambridge in 1952, and undertook postdoctoral research at University of Wisconsin, USA. His doctoral research focused on the genetics of barley and wheat. Upon completing his research associateship, he made a defining decision. He declined a faculty position in the USA, choosing instead to return to India in 1954 to drive impactful changes in his homeland. Returning to India in 1954, Professor Swaminathan worked at the Central Research Institute, Cuttack, Odisha, and further the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. He was interested in increasing agriculture productivity and production, especially of wheat and rice. He successfully modified the crop genetics to achieve his goals, ensuring the plants were responsive to fertilizers and suitable for modern farming techniques. In brief, in spite of so many hurdles, collaboration of Professor Swaminathan with Professor Norman Borlaug created a new history in India's agriculture. The new wheat varieties were sown with unwavering determination. Professor Swaminathan and his team orchestrated a dramatic transformation in wheat production. Subsequently, Government of India declared India a self-sufficient in food production in 1971. The predictions widespread famine in Indian subcontinent by the Dom says the Pathak brothers finally went wrong due to the dedicated efforts of Professor M. Swaminathan, his team, and the resilience of Indian farmers. Hailed as the father of Indian Green Revolution, for this monumental contribution, Professor Swaminathan strived his entire life for ending food insecurity and ensuring a more equitable and sustainable future for all. As a rare combination of great administrative and academic capability, Professor held positions in number of national and international organizations. Among several coveted positions that Professor M. Swaminathan occupied in India, each with elegance, innovation and creativity, are the Director of IARA New Delhi, Director General of ICAR, Secretary of Department of Agriculture Research and Education, Agriculture Secretary of Government of India, and Acting Deputy Chairman and Member of Planning Commission. Professor Swaminathan was instrumental in the creation of All India Agriculture Research Service, which facilitated collaborative research efforts among scientists from all corners of the nation. In 1990, under his visionary leadership, the National Academy of Agricultural Science, NAS, was established as an independent think tank and a forum to unite agricultural scientists from various fields. Beyond its policy influence, the Academy plays vital role in recognizing, celebrating experience in agriculture research, raising the profile of the field and fostering its integration with other scientific disciplines. Professor was the first Indian to become Director General of the International Rice and Research Institute, Philippines. One of his most pivotal role came in 2004. Then he was appointed a chair of the National Commission on Farmers. This commission was established in response to raising farmers' distress and alarming rates of suicide among farmers. The commission reports submitted in 2006 made landmark recommendation to benefit farming community. He was nominated as member of Rajya Sabha for his expertise and contribution to agriculture. Professor Swaminathan's contributions to agriculture and food security have revealed global recognition to acclaim. His work had a profound impact not only in India but also in many other countries facing similar agricultural challenges. He actively collaborated with international organizations including Consultative Group on International Agriculture Research, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organizations FAO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO, leveraging his vast knowledge and expertise to tackle global food security challenges. Notably, he played a key role in the establishment of International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics research in Hyderabad, the International Board for Plant Genetic Resources in Italy, and the International Council for Research in Agroforestry in Kenya. As chairman of the UN Advisory Committee for Science and Technology, Professor Swaminathan played an important role in setting up the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in New Delhi. He also played a key role in promoting Global Institute for Cooperation in Water Management in Valencia, Spain, when he served as the chairman of the International Committee on Water Management. His guidance was instrumental in shaping numerous institutions in China, Vietnam, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Iran, and Cambodia. Professor Swaminathan co-chaired the United Nations Millennium Project on Hunger from 2002 to 2005 and was head of the Pugwash Conference on Science and World Affairs between 2002 and 2007. Professor Swaminathan was invited to serve numerous global committees, expert groups, and consultation on agriculture, biotechnology, and sustainable development. Universities and academic institutions around the world have conferred upon him numerous honorary degrees in recognition of his exceptional contribution to agriculture and science. His books, articles, and lectures on agriculture, food security, and sustainable development have been widely disseminated and appreciated globally. His ideas and principles, including the importance of sustainable and equitable agriculture practices, have influenced agriculture policies practiced in many countries, particularly those seeking to enhance food security and global development. Awards then recognizing Swaminathan's works include 85 honorary doctorates across the globe. Professor Swaminathan is a distinguished fellow of over 30 academies globally, including the prestigious Fellowship of Royal Society and founder fellow of the Third World Academy of Sciences. He was honored with the Mendel Memorial Medal from Czechoslovak University Academy of Sciences, Ramon Magsaysay Award, Albert Einstein World Science Award, and more importantly, he was the inaugural laureate of the World Food Prize, often considered to be an agriculture Nobel Prize. The other one is a Tyler Prize for Environmental Achievement. Four Freedoms Award and Planet and Humanity Medal of the International Geographical Union. He was conferred with the Order of Golden Heart from the Philippines, Order of Agriculture, Merit of France, Order of the Golden Arrow of the Netherlands, and Order of Cambodia. In 1999, the United Nations Environment Program honored him with the title the Father of Economic Ecology. He was on the Times list of most influential people of the 20th century, along with our Mahatma Ji and Rabindranath Tagore. Professor Swaminathan's exceptional contribution to India earned his esteemed doctorates alongside Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Lal Bahadur Shastri Award, Indira Gandhi Prize, and Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award. During later years, Swaminathan shifted his focus towards advocating for sustainable and environment-friendly agriculture practices. He emphasized the importance of conserving agrobiodiversity and natural resources and adopting climate-resilience farming techniques. He promoted the application of indigenous wisdom and customs in agriculture. Professors, one of the branches of the M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation has made numerous important contributions to the agriculture, rural development, food security in India and beyond. The foundation has been a pioneer in promoting sustainable and eco-friendly agriculture practices, focusing on conserving biodiversity, minimizing the chemical input, and enhancing soil and water management. MSSRF research has led to the development of bio-fortified crops, addressing malnutrition by improving the nutritional content of staple foods such as iron-fortified pearl millet. It has championed the empowerment of women in agriculture, providing them with training, resources and opportunities for leadership roles in farming and rural development. Despite his advanced age, Swaminathan remained active in research and advocacy. He persisted in adding to the conversation about the rural development, food security, sustainable agriculture through his writing, public speaking engagements and attendance at several forums and conferences. Professor Swaminathan played a key role in the establishment and upkeep of institutions and associations devoted to agriculture development, research and policy advocacy. Professor Swaminathan ensured that farmers remained at the center of all agriculture research initiatives. He created unprecedented opportunities for thousands of researchers and raised the bar for agriculture science across the nation. It is a legacy that future generations will not only benefit but will forever remember, celebrate and cherish. Swaminathan's creative approach extended into his digital era. In 1997, he established the first computer-aided rural knowledge centers which promoted agriculture innovation and knowledge dissemination. Professor Swaminathan's work has inspired countless young scientists and researchers to pursue careers in agriculture and related fields. He has been an influential mentor to many, nurturing a new generation of agriculture scientists and policymakers. His emphasis on social equity and empowerment sustainably continued to shape the thinking of those working in agriculture and related disciplines. Professor Swaminathan left behind a substantial and enduring legacy in the subject of agriculture, as well as influence of upcoming generations and ongoing efforts and projects. In addition to influencing the lives of millions of Indians and others worldwide, Professor Swaminathan was a mentor to the scientists, a teacher to students, a guide to farmers, and a counselor to administrators. researchers, decision makers, and activists all around the world are still motivated by his legacy to take today's most important issues such as sustainable agriculture and climate change. His dream, green revolution into evergreen revolution. John Keats once wrote, "Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter." This sentiment remains timelessly true for our beloved professor. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May we request Dr. Bindu Podikunya, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Extension, College of Agriculture, Pathak, to introduce our Honorable Speaker for the day, Dr. Himanshu Pathak.
Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, DG CRISAT, Dr. KB Hebbar, Director CPCRI, Dr. Harinarayana, Chief Principal Scientist KSCSTE, Dr. Sujana Pal, Principal Scientist KFRI, Dr. T. Sajida Rani, Dean, College of Agriculture Patnakad, Dr. Mini PK, Head, Department of Agriculture Engineering, College of Agriculture Patnakad, Mr. Chandra Pradap, Scientist, NATPAC, former Deans, ADIAs, professors from our college, other invited guests, media, my colleagues and dear students. Good morning to one and all. It is a truly proud moment for College of Agriculture Patnakad to host the MS Swaminathan Memorial Lecture. On this occasion, we fondly recall the visit of Dr. MS Swaminathan to this campus in the year 2000 and his inspiring interaction with the academic community here. As we gather together today in his memory and eagerly await the memorial lecture, it is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, sir, a renowned scientist and a visionary leader whose professional journey truly reflects the values that Dr. Swaminathan stood for. Dr. Pathak began his distinguished career at the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, where he served as a principal scientist and professor until 2016. He was deeply involved in teaching and research in soil science and environmental science, mentoring many students and working on important issues including climate resilience in agriculture, a topic that is more relevant today than ever before. He later took on major leadership roles as the director of National Rice Research Institute, Cuttack, and then director of National Institute of Abiotic Stress Management, Baramadi, both ICR institutes. From August 2022 to March 2025, Dr. Pathak served as the Director General of ICR and Secretary DARE, Government of India. During this period, he played a key role in strengthening India's agricultural research, education, innovation, and extension systems. At present, he serves as the Director General of the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, shortly called as ICRISAT, a premier international research institute dedicated to improving the livelihoods of farmers in the semi-arid tropics of Asia and Africa. As Director General, he is leading international efforts to address some of the pressing challenges facing agriculture today: climate change, food security, and sustainable livelihoods for smallholder farmers. He is a fellow of several prestigious scientific academies and a recipient of numerous national, international awards and fellowships, including the coveted Humboldt Fellowship from Germany. He has also collaborations with institutes in the UK, Australia, the Philippines, and Ethiopia. Dr. Pathak is widely respected for his contributions to climate-smart agriculture, sustainable farming systems, and natural resource conservation. He has led 9 major research programs, executed more than 50 research projects, and published over 200 research papers and several books. For our students and the scientists assembled here, sir, your professional journey is truly inspiring. It demonstrates how scientific excellence, hard work, and a deep commitment to farmers can take one from classrooms and labs to positions of global leadership. Your career also proves that agriculture offers endless opportunities to make a meaningful and lasting difference. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today. We are eager to listen, learn, and be inspired by your thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, we come to the highlight of today's program, the MS Swaminathan Memorial Lecture. It is our honor to invite Dr. Himanshu Pathak, Director General, International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, to deliver the memorial lecture. As we proceed, the dignitaries on the dais are requested to kindly occupy their seats of the dais.
Good morning, everyone. All the very distinguished personalities on the dais, but now they have shifted to off the dais, each and every one of them. Dr. Heber, my colleague from ICR and Director of CPCRI, my batchmate, Dr. P.R. Suresh, we did our PhD together at IERI New Delhi. All the former faculty members, deans of this very prestigious College of Agriculture, Kasaragod, and very importantly, a large number of very young, energetic, motivated students. Welcome each and every one of you for this great occasion when we are remembering Professor M.S. Swaminathan. Friends, let me tell you, today is one of the most important days of my life when I have been invited to deliver a talk in this College of Agriculture, Kasaragod. Secondly, I have not only been invited to deliver a talk, I have been invited to deliver a talk in memory of Professor M.S. Swaminathan, a great person. Just now you heard about his contributions, but let me summarize his contributions. Once a foreign reporter asked one of our former presidents, President of India, they said, what is the single most achievement of independent India? You know, after independence, this country has achieved a lot. But he asked, what could be number one, single most important one? And Honorable President replied that this country became self-sufficient in food production and food grain. And that is the single most important achievement of this country. And who led that particular program, because of which this country is self-sufficient, is Professor M.S. Swaminathan. That is the contribution of this great man. This is what it is. I am fortunate that I had numerous occasions to interact with him as a student, as a faculty member of IARI, and also in several meetings and several fora where I could really see personally what the charisma, what the knowledge, and what the love and affection Professor Swaminathan used to have for agriculture students, for agriculture fraternity, and of course farmers of this country. So friends, today we are remembering his contributions in this particular hall in the College of Agriculture, Kasaragod. And I thank the organizers of this college, of the university, and of course Kerala Science Congress for organizing this very important lecture. Friends, I will be talking about food security to farmers' fortune, the whole journey of Indian agriculture, and in this journey, Professor means Professor Swaminathan, played the most important role. And how the new technology, new science is going to take it further. You know, Indian agriculture is quite vast. It has got numerous resources and also several responsibilities. It has got only 2.3% of global land area, only 2.3%. But it supports 18% of world population. 2.3% land supporting 18% of world population. It has got only 4% of global freshwater, only 4%. But supporting 18% of population and 15% of livestock. So you can see the responsibility with these minimum resources. But rainfall wise, we are fortunate that it receives around 117%. Global average rainfall, in particular for my student friends, is around 1000 millimeter per year. We receive around 1100 millimeter per year. Of course, the rainfall distribution is not so good. We receive very heavy rain in just 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and of course, rest of the year is quite dry. But even then, we are fortunate that we receive good amount of rainfall. Indian agriculture is also quite diverse like this country itself. We have got 140 million hectare of net cultivated area, 140 million hectare, 48% and now around 50% of that area is irrigated. And as I talked about rainfall, we have got large variations. We have got areas which receives less than 50 millimeters. And there are areas which doesn't receive rainfall maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Can you imagine the place? Of course, sitting in Kerala, you certainly cannot imagine that there are places which doesn't receive rain at all for 2 years, 3 years. And even if it receives less than 50 millimeter per year. But also we have got land which receives more than 3,500, sometimes even 4,000, 5,000 millimeters. So that much diversity. We have got 15 agroclimatic zones, more than 300 crops we grow. Not 1 or 2, 300 crops we grow, employs 50% of the workforce and contributes 18% of gross domestic product. It varies a little bit, but on an average around 17 to 18%. But friends, particularly my young friends, students, what that self-sufficiency in food grain, what you see today in this country, it was not like that. And even if we did not go to many centuries back, even during 18th, 19th and 20th centuries, you can see so many famines this country witnessed. So many. Because of which we lost so many millions of people. These are official numbers. Actual numbers could be even more. Because we are talking of 18th century, 19th century, where during that time we didn't have a system of getting right number because all those sensors and technologies were not there. So you can see, so more than 30 million, 300 lakhs people lost their life because of food shortage, because of hunger. You cannot imagine those things now. we were living, which you call as sip to mouth. Why sip to mouth? Even until 1970s, early 70s, huge amount of food this country used to receive from USA. There was a program called PL 480, Public Loan 480, and with which lots of food. So almost every day, 1, 2 or 3 ships used to land, harbor in some of our ports, carrying food, mostly wheat, maize, and sometimes rice from US, not very good quality. Certainly nobody is going to donate you good quality food, so second category food. Those will come to this country, will be taken to the villages and towns and cities, and that's how this country will be filling its stomachs. That continued even up to 1960s or even early 70s. And that's why this country used to be called as country of sip to mouth, sip to mouth. And also begging bowl. This country used to go almost every country, every other country, particularly US and others, Europe, for asking food. That was the situation before this Green Revolution. And you mentioned about this particular publication. So at that point of time, USA used to give food aid to many countries. That is more than 30-40 countries or so. But then USA was also not having sufficient amount of food. So USA Congress, they set up a committee that we are giving food aid, free food to many countries, but we are not in a position to provide sufficient food to all those countries. So let us prioritize to which country USA will give food and to which country it will not give, because it cannot give. So a committee was formed, and Pathak's brother were the member of that particular committee, and then they published this particular book, Famine 1975. The book was published in 67. They predicted that it is almost sure that by 1975 the whole world is going to face severe famines. Millions of people are going to die because we cannot provide food to them. The book was published in 1967, America's Decision, Who Will Survive? Who will survive those kinds of famines which are going to come? And then they decided, now let us prioritize who should be the beneficiaries of US food aid. And that committee categorized all these countries into these 3 categories. And they took a very, very good corollary. I shall tell you that corollary, and this corollary was told by none other than Dr. Norman Borlaug when he was delivering a talk in IRI auditorium. Yeah, that auditorium. Now that has been named as Dr. B.P. Pal auditorium. So he said, imagine a war is going on. And of course, unfortunately now in the whole world, lots of wars are going on. So it is inevitable to imagine these are happening. So when some war goes on, there will be always 3 categories of soldiers, almost every time. One category of soldier was very strong, fit and fine, no injury, no health problem, and they are fighting the war for you. This is category number 1. There will be second category of our front and fight the battle. That is the second category of soldiers. But there will be always a third category of soldiers who are so injured. Someone might have lost leg or hand or eye because it's war. That whatever you do, they will never be in a position to go back to the war front. Because no, they cannot go back. Now you have got these 3 categories of soldiers. And now if you have got a limited amount of medicine, food, all these things, supplies. So out of these three categories, which category should get your first priority? To which category you will provide everything, and then second, and then third? I can ask this question to our all student friends. If you are the president of USA and you have to take a decision, they have got these three categories. We cannot provide to all these three categories. We have got very limited supply of medicine, food and everything. Out of these three categories, to which category you will provide and which category you would like to forget? You can think of. But this committee decided that the third category, which cannot go back and fight the war, should be forgotten. Because you have to win the war. You have to forget. So they categorize all these countries into these three categories. One category was that they cannot be saved. Whatever you do, these countries will never be able to stand on their own feet, never be self-sufficient. You cannot save them. You can help them for 1 year, 2 years, but you cannot save them permanently. Second one is, of course, walking wounded. You can still try if you have got some additional food and medicine. And third one is, of course, should receive food, the best one. All the countries which were receiving food aid from USA were categorized into these three categories. Can you imagine in which category India was put? India was put in the first category. Cannot be saved. That whatever you do, whatever amount of food you give to this country, they cannot be saved. Huge country, large population, not doing much, cannot feed itself. How long another country can support such a vast country? It is not 1 lakh or 1 crore people. We are talking of crores and crores of people. Who can support? India cannot be saved. Incidentally, they put Pakistan into the second category. That they are walking wounded and they should be supported. So India was a country which cannot be saved. And that was 1967. The committee first came in 65. The book was published in 1967. And they said by 75 or 80, India cannot be saved. That was that period. And today, this country, India, is producing such an amount of food grain, pulses, oilseed, cotton, sugar, horticulture, milk, fish and everything. You can see the numbers. Increasing from 3 times to 154 times. 3 times to 154 times, and we are not only self-sufficient, we are also exporting food. We are not only exporting food, we are also donating food free of cost to at least 14 or 15 countries in this world. Free food. So during Corona time, this country not only gave free vaccine, but this country also gave free food. And that's the achievement. And that's the success. And the leader of that success was Professor M.S. Swaminathan. And now you can clap for Professor Swaminathan and for the achievement of India. This is what it is. And we have done that with same amount of land. You can see this one, red one. It is more or less 140 million hectare. But the productivity has gone up. How it has been possible? First comes science. And very easy science. Of course, today it seems to be very easy because we are doing lots of things. Now, what is the very basic science which was involved in this? The basic science is, those who are little older, by your experience, not by age probably, earlier our varieties used to be very, very tall, You can imagine, you can see this photo, this one, the lower, sorry. That side. Actually, in that photo, Dr. Borlaug is standing in one wheat field, so he is almost, below the crop. You can see the top one. So, these tall kinds of varieties, very tall, maybe taller than me, but the yield was very low. And there is another one, very dwarf, DGO gene. Yield of both are very small. So they crossed it and came out with a variety called IR8. This is called miracle variety of rice, developed by International Rice Research Institute in 1965, released in India in 1968, and similarly for wheat, developed in Summit, Mexico, released in India, and that changed almost everything. What Professor Swaminathan used to say, that in terms of productivity of rice and wheat, what this country could not achieve in previous 1,000 years, could be achieved in next 10 years. So the food production, which was only 50 million tons that time, now it is 354 million tons. And this is very simple but very strong science which played the role. It is not only food grain. Even you can see in dairy sector, all these birds are coming up and up. Again, because of increase in productivity it has happened. You can see the fisheries sector, which you call as one of the sunrise sectors. Growth is around 8 to 10% every year, and all these new things are there. In horticulture, the total production of horticultural commodities has even gone beyond food grain. So food grain is 354 million tons this year. For horticulture it is 367, are now going to touch 370 million tons. So this is what it is. And then of course spices, for which Kerala is very much known for since historic time. Again you can see how the development is happening, how the productivity is going up. And along with these machineries, manually everything cannot be done. So again you can see the tractor revolution of India. Now India is #1 tractor producer, not only for its own consumption but also exporting huge number of tractors to others. And you can see the growth rate over the years. And if you can compare the growth rate on rice, and of course rice is also important for Kerala, you can see and compare other countries. For China, for last 10-12 years, it is almost negative growth. But here in India, it is around 30% increase in rice productivity. Similarly, you can see for other countries as well. Not only in terms of food grain production, but the stability in food grain production, which is extremely important. Because this country, as I saw, that only around 50% area is irrigated. Remaining 50% is rain-fed. So we are still depend on monsoon, whether it is southwest or northeast. But fortunately, over the last around 15-20 years, or maybe more than 20 years, in spite of aberrations in monsoon rain, in spite of changing climate and increasing variabilities, total food grain production has not gone down. It is increasing. Again, because of new technology, new climate resilient varieties, and many other things which we now all of us have. And as a result, you can see as the country which was totally depending upon import, but since 1991, it has started exporting. It has started exporting food grain, and currently if we just take one commodity, India is not only the largest producer of rice, but also the largest exporter of rice and several other commodities. It is also number one in milk production and of course several other. And we can see how much India exports and compare other countries which are far below than what India does in terms of export. So if you divide the whole period of agriculture in India, so we had time which we call as food scarce, it was not available, then became food shortage, then food sufficient, then food secure, and today we are food surplus at least in few commodities. And I can tell you what is the food surplus means. When I was in Central Rice Research Institute, Pathak, I worked there. And incidentally, Dr. Swaminathan also started his career from Central Rice Research Institute, Pathak. So I was director of that institute. So we developed a variety of rice which could give around 12 tons per hectare yield. Our average best variety will give around 6 to 7 tons per hectare, but that variety, if you can manage properly, can give 12 tons per hectare. We were very excited. And I went to meet one agriculture minister of a very prominent state, grows huge amount of rice, and I thought that probably this is going to excite him. Whole agriculture is going to change. So I sought the time and he gave the appointment. I made the presentation, and after that presentation I was expecting that Honorable Minister might be very, very happy, congratulating me and my institute and all the things are going to happen, but nothing happened. So my presentation was over and Honorable Minister was not at all, impressed. So I was a little, what happened? He said, Dr. Pathak, I congratulate you that your scientists have developed that kind of variety, giving 12 tons per hectare yield. But let me tell you, this is not going to help us. I asked, how come, sir? He said, even today, the amount of rice which we produce, we cannot procure the entire amount of rice from the farmers. They are not getting good price. And that is when the yield is 6 tons per hectare. And now you have come out with 12 tons per hectare. So that means they are going to produce even more amount of rice. We are not in a position to procure. So they are going to ask us that please procure our rice. So there is going to be, some more problem for us. So congratulations, it's a very good development. But then probably we do not need. And that is the meaning of surplus. We have got capacity, but we do not need it. That is for rice and wheat, not for other commodities. Still, there are many other commodities on which we still need to increase, but then there are examples where we certainly do not need any more. So how all these things happened? And I summarize them in 4 P's rather. Path-breaking science, as I told you, and many of you study these either in genetics and plant breeding or agronomy or in almost, how these new varieties and hybrids are developed. So path-breaking science, progressive farmers, because without their participation, nobody can do that. They have to adapt the technology, they have to produce it. Political will, extremely, extremely important. Without that, nothing is going to work. And let me give you one example how this extension can be done and was done at that point of time. The semi-dwarf varieties, farmers were not at all aware of. They have never seen these semi-dwarf varieties. And they had all kinds of apprehension that, okay, do not know from where it is coming and how. So at that point of time, the then Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri, and then of course, Srimati Indira Gandhi, they asked every member of parliament of that time that wherever you are, whether your residence is in Delhi or in Kerala or wherever you are coming, in your residence, you must have 2 plots. Before anybody enters your house, you must have 2 plots in your garden or wherever. One plot with traditional varieties, that very tall one, and second plot with this yielding varieties. And before allowing anybody to enter your house, you please show them the difference between these two varieties. It was a mandatory kind of whip that you have to follow it. And that's how the message of yielding, semi-dwarf, fertilizer responsive, irrigation responsive varieties were promoted. And of course, extension system, universities, ICR, state departments, everybody was there, and that's how it went. And fourth one is partnership. Partnership with international organizations like IRI, CIMIT, ICRISAT, and of course, national system, ICR, universities, state departments. So that partnership was very, very crucial in achieving this kind of success. And there comes ICRISAT. So it was 1972 when Professor Swaminathan was the Director General of Indian Council of Agriculture Research and also Secretary to the Department of Agriculture Research and Education, Government of India. So that time this proposal came that we have got institute for rice, wheat and maize, we should be having institute for millets, pulses, oil seeds. So ICRISAT was established, and Professor wrote that it was one of his very first tasks after assuming the charge of DGICR to establish ICRISAT in Hyderabad. And of course these are some of the photographs there. So ICRISAT headquarters is at Hyderabad, but we have got 8 regional stations in 8 different countries of Africa with this international organization. And currently we work with around 55 countries all over the world on various aspects, not only development of varieties, but also water management, nutrient management, capacity building, and all kinds of related activities which we do. This is what the reach of ICRISAT. We have got a gene bank which has got around 130,000 germplasm of millets, pulses and so on, which have been collected from all over the world. So we share those germplasm, share the technologies, receive feedback, tries to develop capacity building and all those kinds of things. So over the years, of course, ICRISAT has developed more than 13,000 varieties and all other kinds of things, which I'm not going to tell. I know that every year some students from this college also your country tour visit ICRISAT. So please visit ICRISAT, and we'll be able to show you exactly what we do and how we do it and what are the other things which we are doing over here. So this is what ICRISAT does. So this was the agriculture up to 70s, 80s, 90s or even early 2000. This country became self-sufficient. This country started exporting food. This country also started donating food. Now is it all? No. Now the landscape of Indian agriculture is changing or has already changed rather. You can see how India is changing. What today or 23, 24, whatever you say, what we have got and what it is going to be in 2047. We say Viksit Bharat or so. How the income is going to change, how the middle income or small income households are going to shift from one category to another category, and how all those requirements are going to come in next few decades, in next 20, 25 years or so. This is in terms of agri-food system. How much we produce today and how much we need by 2047. But you can see still there are gaps. We have to achieve even more than what we have achieved. So whenever you talk of Viksit Bharat, developed India, let me tell you one thing. This country, where even today around 50% population depends on agriculture, this country cannot transform itself into a developed country without transforming its agriculture. So if this country has to be a developed country, its agriculture has to be developed. Otherwise, where this 50% population you are going to put? You simply cannot do that. So all my young friends, students, these next 25 years are actually the years of yours. These are not years of my or maybe some of my senior colleagues who are sitting over here. Next 25 years, you are going to see how this is going to transform itself from a developing country to a developed country, and how agriculture is going to transform itself from what we have got today and then what it should be in 2047. And all those increased numbers need to be achieved in spite of several challenges. You know there are several challenges. Challenges of degraded soil, depleting water resources, biotic stresses, huge amount of crop loss, food loss. Whatever we produce, around 30% of that food or product is lost in the process, starting from field to plate. It is lost, 30% is lost. Low productivity, high production cost, limited diversification, low value addition, high volatility and climatic risk. There could be many more also. So with all of these risks and challenges, Indian agriculture has to achieve several of those numbers which I just said. And these are going to be the major drivers of Indian agriculture in coming years. Our driver, earlier it was only productivity, increased production, but now it is not only going to be increased production. As I gave the example, that Honorable Minister was not at all impressed when I showed that we are going to increase productivity. You know, we do not need that. We have to do with market. Retail shop is now online shop. All changes. Equipment traditional to now automated kind of things are there. Credit source, money lenders, agents, now agri, fintech, digital market is also changing, mandi hard to online, and these things are going to happen very fast rate in coming few years. Now in today's world, almost everything is here with this. Almost everything, including your classrooms probably. So all these things are happening. And if you compare with some other countries, what kind of agriculture, what kind of production, contribution and population engagement are there in agriculture. See how many in Brazil, China, USA and India. So in India you can see share of employment is 44-45%. In other countries it is very small. In most of the developed countries it is only 3 to 5% people are engaged in agriculture, but here it is 45 to 50%. So all these differences are there, and therefore Indian agriculture has to evolve in its own way. With all of these challenges, successes, achievements, opportunities, now we are in a new era of Indian agriculture. And that's what I say, next generation agriculture. In the time of Professor Swaminathan, he brought India into a new generation, that time new generation. Now this is another time to shift into another generation, another next generation. And this change is, it is the law of nature. What they say that only one thing is permanent in this world, and that permanent thing is change. You have to change because the things are changing. And those changes have started happening. So when we talk of next generation agriculture, we talk of technology-driven, smart and molecular agriculture, genomics, phenomics, those who are students of genetics and plant breeding and so on. And that started with this one around 50 years back. This tool which you have now got. I'm sure all of you have got at least one, many of you have got might be two. I don't know whether any one of you have got three also. But I have seen many 2, 3 carrying, but one is almost with everyone. So it started around 50 years back when Martin Cooper demonstrated that handheld mobile phone at a press conference in New York and made the first public cell phone call. And in 1983, Motorola first came out with some kind of set. But that time it was very, very costly. You can see 1983 the cost was around $4,000 US. 1983. $4,000 US today you can calculate. And today you can get this kind of phone as cheap as maybe 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, and of course as costly as few lakhs also. Somebody told me that there is a phone and he or she purchased around with 5 lakhs or so. I cannot imagine those 5 lakhs, but then those are available. But these could be very cheap only 1,000 or maybe 1,500, and then it can go upwards depending upon your requirement and your interest and your taste and so on. But then this is what, and the rest is of course history. Today we cannot live without this. Whether you have got anything to do with this or not, it has to be always with you. That's how this has changed our life. Okay, that's fine. So what are the key technologies which are going to change agriculture? Artificial intelligence. Almost every time you have to go through it. Machine learning, Internet of Things, sensors, interconnected devices, robotics, automation, drones, aerial imagery, big data analytics, genomics, phenomics, all of these are now part of research, part of education, part of extensions, and there are many farmers, not every farmer, but there are many farmers of this country have already started using all of this. It is not that they are not, just we are only talking in this hall, no. Out there, people have already started using these kinds of things. And of course, with all of this, we can increase productivity, we can improve efficiency, sustainability, cost effectiveness, climate resilience, and all of these things are possible. And you can see the progress of these technologies. Almost every year, the number is going to be double. And the technology is changing so fast that maybe after 2 years, this will be obsolete. So you purchased it this year and this is the latest one. Not this one, just an example. This is not the latest one anyway. So, but if you purchase today the latest, I have got the latest phone. You claim it today with your friends that I have got the latest one. And come after 2 years, they'll say, oh, this is the latest one. Then it is no more available. You just change it and purchase another one. That's how and that fast the whole thing is happening. Now we really need to include and use all these next generation tools and technologies. We have already started using it in research, education as well as extension. These are some of the examples what I share and universities have now developed which we call as climate resilient varieties. I'll give you an example of rice, how it has happened. You know, the ordinary variety of rice, if it is under water for 6 to 7 days, totally under water, then the whole crop is going to die. But now we have got rice varieties, even if that particular crop is under water for more than 16, 17, 18 days, totally under water. And after that, if the water subsides, goes away, that crop will come up and it will give around 90% of the yield. Submergence tolerant variety. Again, same drought tolerant variety. Your ordinary rice variety will be able to sustain only, 10 days, 12 days. But this will sustain around 1 month. And now we have got varieties which have got both. Same variety, drought tolerant as well as submergence tolerant. Because India has, several places where today there is drought and tomorrow plant. We have got, we are in a very peculiar kind of place. But then you have to use technology so that you will be able to address all those challenges. Just to give you one example of Icrisat, just 3 months back, we have released a variety of pigeon pea, and which we call as that product positioning kind of, so what a product, one variety can possess. Now this particular variety, I'm sure you have seen these pigeon pea crops, sometimes very tall, and these are indeterminate. Indeterminate means physiology people understand this very well. So there will be flowering continuous, so farmers have to harvest 3 times, 4 times. Now this is determinate, it will mature like rice and wheat. Height is 2.5 feet. Can be harvested by machine, short stature like earlier rice and wheat. Photoinsensitive. It can be grown during any period of the year, uniform maturity. It can tolerate heat up to 45 degrees centigrade temperature. Highly thermotolerant and yield, the current variety of pigeon pea gives only around 1.2 to 1.3 tons per hectare, but this can give up to 2 to 2.5 tons per hectare. Again using new science and new technologies, speed breeding, genomics and so on. This is just one example, and there are several other examples which are now available. Similarly, there are several technologies called precision agriculture. Those are soil scientists and water scientists. They understand very well using fertilizer, based on sensors, based on micro irrigation, drip, sprinkler, crop planning, protected cultivation, and all of these things are now available, and farmers have started using those. Building resilience for dry land, again we call it regenerative agriculture, not only for few crops, it can be done for almost all the crops. And this is one or two examples of how ICRISAT is doing in very large, not in 1 hectare or 2 hectares of land, in around 25,000 hectares of land. In 2 or 3 states we have started working. So this is an example of Uttar Pradesh, how the whole dry lands have been converted into a land where, if not plenty of water, but sufficiently good amount of water is there so that farmers can grow, where earlier they could not grow a single crop, but now they can grow at least 2 crops in a year. So this is building resilience. And then of course value addition. Earlier our target was only to increase productivity, but now value addition is another dimension, depending upon market requirement, depending upon consumers' preference and so on. So this is another area, and again lots of new technologies, science are available. So we talk not only of production, but also changing the whole agri-food system, starting from seed to market. How the whole thing is, the whole agriculture research in ICAR or universities are now being changed to address the whole agri-food system, and that's what we are trying to do over here. And then of course efficient delivery of technology, delivery of input, delivery of whatever other knowledge and all those kinds of things are there. So all we are trying to work. If you've got time, you please read this particular book. Earlier also I showed one book, and this is available in our ICAR website. And that first one was Indian Agriculture after independence. So there we have tried to put what has happened, what has gone into agri research, education, extension after independence. And this particular book, again it is available in NAS website, what India should be doing till 2047. So Indian agriculture by 2047, a roadmap for research, education and extension. So there are lots of good examples given over there. So few technologies which are going to work. One is of course drone. It is no more a new term, no more an imaginary term. Drones are now available, or you have seen working in many places. Again, remote sensing based approach for crop health monitoring. Again, this particular tool. So we have got now tools. Farmer can go to the field, take a photograph. If there is some disease, upload it. It will go to a kind of portal, and immediately a reply comes how to control it. If that answer is not available, it goes to an expert, and that expert gives the reply, okay, you please do that. Now we have developed an app by using few millions of data set and using AI, artificial intelligence kinds of tools, that how this thing can be done. Of course, soil health assessment, again use of remote sensing, GIS and all kinds of tools. Variable rate technology, BRT, using robot and those kinds of things, again lots of work is. So these are all new generation technologies for new generation agriculture. Sensors and IoT based irrigation. You need to go to the field now. The field is there, irrigation drip system is there, and there are sensors. So those sensors which are put either in the plant or in soil will tell whether the crop needs water. When the crop gives that signal through those sensors that the crop needs water, automatically a message will come to you here. You simply say yes. So the pump will start, it will irrigate, it will go up to a level, and again the sensor will tell now it is sufficient, you can stop it. You can stop. So standing here, I can irrigate my fields in ICRISAT or somewhere. Similarly, feeding in ICAR SIFA, Bhubaneswar. So they have developed some AI-based tools to feed fish in ponds. So depending upon the volume of fish, their numbers and weight and everything, it calculates how much amount of feed is required, at what point of time, and then there is a small algorithm that calculates, and then periodically it goes on putting feed into that particular lake. Again, you need not to go there. One very useful use of those kinds of, in many houses, I'm sure in your houses also, there are aquarium for fish. And if you go somewhere, say you are going for 10 days or so, it always becomes a kind of, tension that how you are going to feed those fishes. So you have to ask your neighbor or someone to come daily and then keep it. But now you need not to do that. There is some very small app kind of thing. So as per your requirement, it will open it and the feed will be put in the aquarium and then it can continue. It will also give you the data whether the pH of the water is okay or whether salinity and all those kinds of things are there. So sitting or standing anywhere in the world, you can still get the information. Now this has all started happening, and these are going to be more and more. Again, artificial intelligence using all disease, insect, pest and so on. For research, genomics, and there are some good facilities. This is one of IARI, and we have got in 3 other institutes of ICR, where those who are working on genomics, how easy and how efficient these are. Hydroponics is again all controlled, all artificially controlled, and you can harvest really good yield. Robotics, again, you might think it is not very common for sure, but then it has started happening. So the robots are doing almost anything, whether it is mature or and then of course harvest and post quality monitoring and grading. All of these new tools, new techniques and new opportunities coming, agri information system for agriculture extension. Again, we are using some new tools, not that person has to go there and then talk to the people. So all of these things are now available. Of course, it needs calibration, it needs refinement, it needs awareness, capacity building and so on. So therefore, what is going to be our way forward for Indian agriculture? As I said, that Indian agriculture needs to be transformed to address the challenges and to achieve the new heights. Not only food security, but also for environment security, for ecology security, and also for economic security, increasing farmers' income and so on. So if you compare what is conventional agriculture and what is going to be next generation agriculture. So in terms of knowledge, analytics, stress detection, phenotyping, management, lots of changes are going to happen of what we are doing today and what we will be doing or what we should be doing in the coming years. In all of these areas, you can see lots of changes are going to happen. But for all of this, we need data. To develop any model, whether it is AI or ML, you need data. And those data will be generated by college like you, students like you, and of course ICR, universities and so on. And of course if you have those, then certainly all of this information can be put into the new tools of AI and ML and you can use those. And there we have got challenges. Many times we do not have good data. Even if it is available, it is there but it is not available to all of us. Accessibility, security, privacy, there are gaps in technology, infrastructure, complexity and skill. These countries, more than 86% are small and marginal farmers. So even if the technology is there, but they do not have resources to have those technologies. This is another challenge. There are barriers, there are partnership problems, and there are of course policy. So it is not that the road is very smooth expressway, not like expressway. Still there are bumps, still there are lots of things which you need to do, but then potential is certainly there. So what we need to do is we need to integrate all of this aspect together in one place to address all these enormous challenges what Indian agriculture has got, and of course to achieve what we want to do. So friends, as I said, so since 1950s we were following what we call as our traditional farming earlier. Then came Green Revolution, we jumped the production, then we started using more and more inputs, more fertilizer, more irrigation, more pesticides, which we need to continue like that. But now we are in an era of next generation agriculture, which will help in minimizing use of chemicals, fertilizer, pesticides and so on, which will help in increasing productivity, which will help in increasing profitability, and also take care of the environment and ecology, because we are not going to make any harm to the environment. So therefore, let me summarize and conclude of what I tried to convey to all of you. So demand for agriculture is increasing. In 70s, we were very happy to just receive food. You have got rice 2 times and you are very happy. But not today. Today, not only you are satisfied with food, you need quality food, you need pizza, burger, and you need all kinds of things, and you also need these kinds of technologies. Everyone needs it. So our demand, increasing, changing, expectation, aspirations are all building up. And unfortunately, the challenges are also intensifying. Climate change, water scarcity, soil degradation. So we need to improve productivity, profitability and sustainability of Indian agriculture. We need to address agri-food system with smart plant, which we are developing. I gave one example of pigeon pig. Smart technology, smart product, smart market, smart farmers, and of course smart students. Very much required. And when I say smart, that means they will be able to do it efficiently with less cost, with all correctness, less time and so on. Next generation technologies have potential to make agriculture smart. But for that, students, scientists, policymakers and farmers need infrastructure and support to adapt, to calibrate and to upgrade all these next generation technologies. So with this, thank you very much, each and every one of you, for this, giving me this opportunity. An excellent one. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, respected sir, for that insightful, highly inspiring and thought-provoking lecture. We will now have a short session of interaction and question answers. The floor is now open for questions to the Honorable Speaker. May we request the participants to keep their questions as concise as possible. Please raise your hands for asking questions to the Honorable Speaker.
A very good morning, sir. My name is Sani Anil, and my question is, as per our new syllabus, natural farming has been introduced, and it is a very controversial topic to debate with. And in this scenario, as the Prime Minister's advisor, what is your stand in this? Because recently our Prime Minister has already proclaimed it to be the future of agriculture. Thank you.
You talked about natural farming, no?
Natural farming.
Good. So the question is, nowadays, natural farming is being promoted, and it is highly debated at various levels. But let me tell you, as I said in the beginning, that Indian agriculture is really vast. What natural farming wants, it says, do not apply chemicals. do not apply pesticides, broadly. There could be several other very fine definitions, but let us not go into all those finer things. So it says do not apply fertilizer, do not apply chemicals, pesticides, something like that. Let the system develop itself in such a way that it will be able to support the crop. Now, if immediately somebody stops applying fertilizer for the whole country, now that is going to create disaster. But then, Indian agriculture is such vast, and so many crops, so many regions, so many agroclimatic zones which we have got. Let me tell you, even today, without any promotion by anyone, around 15% of area in this country are following natural farming. They do not apply any fertilizer, they do not apply any pesticides, they do not even use high-yielding varieties but the productivity is low. So there will be always scope for natural farming. What you need to do is which crop, which region, and how much yield you are expecting. Let me give you very easy numbers. For growing a rice crop, to produce one rice crop and 1 ton yield, so produce 1 ton rice, the crop needs 20 kg nitrogen. If you want to produce 2 tons, then 40 kg. If you want to produce 5 tons, then 100 kg. Soil and atmosphere can provide around 40 kg without any external support. So if you are happy with 2 tons per hectare rice, then you need not to apply anything. It will do. Which Indian agriculture has been doing since, centuries. But if you want 5 tons, 6 tons, 7 tons, then of course you have to apply more. So the point is, for natural farming, what we need to do is to identify the crops, to identify the areas, agroclimatic zones, and then what is the expectation of your yield. And then you will find that very easily, around 20-25% of area in this particular country can be adapted with natural farming without compromising with total food grain production. Because even now also we are doing in around 10-15% area. But then if somebody says that tomorrow we are going to totally ban chemical fertilizer, nobody is going to do that, let me tell you. Totally ban pesticides, no, nobody is going to do that. That will be creating disaster, and no government in this country will be taking that kind of decision. What the idea is, let us identify suitable crops, suitable regime, suitable yield level, suitable management, so that in certain areas we will be able to grow without fertilizer, without pesticide, without creating any harm to the environment and so on. So this is the whole idea. And of course over the time it will be adopted, it will be evolved, and then finally, and this is the final word, it is democratic country. You can come to farmers with n number of technologies. ICR and universities, we come every year with n number of technologies. But finally they are the choosers. They will decide whether they will adopt it or they will not adopt it. If I say that my technology is greatest one and you adopt it, no, there. If they find it useful, if they find it productive, profitable, blah, 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 they will use it. If they find it not useful, they will not adopt it. And that's how we can visualize and we can take this natural farming. Thank you very much for asking this question. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you are going to ask a question? Oh, you have to answer them. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I am very happy to be part of this MS Swaminathan Memorial Lecture.
Yes.
First of all, I must compliment the organizer having invited you, and you have accepted and you have come to Kasaragod. I think last year during the same period, he was in Kasaragod again at CPCRA. Again you came. I think, sir, it is a very impressive lecture. as usual, I think a great tribute to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Why I am telling is, I think next to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, I think Dr. Pathak is the one to head an international organization. I think as a DG, he is heading the ICRISAT. As a DG of ICR and secretary there, I think we had seen, sir, during your period, a lot of transformation happened in ICR. Now you are heading ICRISAT and you have talked a lot about this next generation. You know both the organization. Now if we have to attain all the targets in the next generation, can you give some advice? ICR, whether we have any shortcomings or anything, if there is anything, can you give some advice where this international organizing is doing better, and if you adopt that one here, we can reach the next generation faster?
Good. Thank you very much, Dr. Hebbar. You know, I know Dr. Hebbar for last many decades, I would say. We used to work together for simulation modeling and so on since I think 90s or 2000s or so. Thank you very much for asking this question. You know, the organizations are different. ICR or any government organization and then ICRISAT or IRI or CIMIT, their administration and those things are different. There are lots of plus points in both. ICR is also transforming over the years and it is still in the process. I mean, that's what I said, that it has to. Similarly, ICRISAT and once CG is also transforming in many ways. So it is not that there are several problems in ICR or ICRISAT also. There are issues, there will be challenges all the time. But I think few things we really can learn from each other, which we are doing anyway. So every year, you know, there are 2 times meeting of all the CG centers, like ICRISAT, IGRI, with ICR. So we sit together and decide how best we will be able to work in both these areas. 1 or 2 very important things in ICRISAT or other CG centers. And I'm not saying that these are not there in ICR, but I think, you know, every system has got opportunity to improve itself or upscale itself. One is very high autonomy to the scientist. Almost everything. Sometimes we think this much autonomy is not required. For example, if a scientist of ICRISAT has to go anywhere in the world, there is no need of taking any permission. Simply one email he or she will be writing to the immediate boss. It doesn't go even up to DG. So just to inform that I am going for that. Similarly, for every program or project, the principal investigator has got everything, starting from hiring people to deciding their pay, all kinds of activities, everything. So this is one, and research needs autonomy. So this is one area where still we can make some kind of improvement. Second one is target driven. So everyone has some targets to fulfill. You have been given autonomy, but then the target is also yours. So throughout the year, probably your supervisor is not going to ask you any question, but only the targets will be asked at the end of the year, whether you have been able to do that or not, and then of course the things. Third one, which is extremely important, is our global outreach. Let me tell you, ICR is one of the best systems in the world. And this is not I am saying that because I was a part of ICR or I was heading ICR. It is a fact. Even if you go to the most developed countries, I was giving example of Brazil, China and all of these, even they also do not have that kind of so large and systematic organizations, including in universities and so on, that research, education, extension, even up to grassroots level we have got our presence. Such kind of very vast system is not existing anywhere. So many people are now learning of what ICR or what Indian agriculture NAR system is doing. But we can really get into other countries, which we are trying to do but could not do much. Let me tell you, whole African continent will be highly benefited if India goes there and then help them. 1960s of India and 20s of Africa are more or less same. We can really reach out to them, give them technology, give them knowledge, and of course in return also our friendship, our collaboration, partnership, export, import, all of these things will increase. So this could be one area reaching to the global community. And this is not only a kind of charity, this is a requirement. This is the need of the hour. And when we think of Dr. Swaminathan, I think him not only as an Indian scientist, he was a global scientist. He was not only thinking about ICR or university, he was thinking about whole global agriculture, whether it is CG or whether it is Africa or whether it is Brazil or whether it is, so that kind of outreach and intention we should be having, which will help us and also the other countries, particularly Africa and South Asia, all our neighboring countries, will be tremendously benefited. And these are some of the things we are already doing. It is not that we are not doing. We have some programs, some projects, but these things can be further intensified to realize as quickly as possible. Both are great organizations, and there are very few people, to be honest, to get this kind of opportunity to head both different kinds of organizations. And I am one of those who have got this opportunity to head both the sides. And I am really grateful for that to Government of India and of course to whole ICRISAT as well as whole CG Center. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking this question.
Participants who want to
are tied. They are not allowed to export because we have to regulate the internal market prices. So exports are not allowed in many fronts. So whether that is bringing back Indian agriculture, and what is the remedy for that?
Thank you very much. This is again a very important but very pertinent question. Government of India, any government, not only Government of India, any government of any country, they decide their policies based on few requirements. One requirement is of course to satisfy the domestic need, which for any cost they cannot compromise. So for doing that, even if somebody's interest can or may be curtailed up to certain extent, they will do it. One reason of not exporting, it is not that we are not exporting, like so you would do that we are exporting, but many times we stop export because somehow they think that if we start exporting then probably we will be falling short, and then but then there are few things which we really need to take into consideration. Number one is of course domestic requirement. Number two, for export you have to be highly competitive. It is business. And somehow some other countries are producing the same product with cheaper cost. So we are not in a position to outcompete them because of their technologies and because of the climate, soil and something like that. Let me give you an example of rice. We export huge amount of rice. But still there are many countries, particularly say for example Vietnam, they produce rice with much lower cost. How it happens? It is not that the technologies are not available. Let me give you an example of how two regions of same country, India, is producing rice and the cost of growing rice. You just imagine growing rice in Eastern India or South India and growing rice in Punjab. Now during rainy season, to grow rice crop in Eastern India, you don't have to apply any irrigation because rainfall is sufficient. More or less, forget about one or two drought years, but otherwise rainfall is. So Eastern India, Northeast as well as South India doesn't apply even a single irrigation to produce a good crop of rice. Now to produce same crop of rice in Punjab or Haryana, they apply around 25 irrigations. Now you calculate the cost. Then how Punjab farmers are growing rice? Now there the electricity is free. Water is free. You can apply as many irrigations, as much of water, it is free from government of Punjab side. So that means farmers need not to pay. So when I did not to pay and the irrigation is assured, 100% area is irrigated, they are getting good yield compared to Eastern India or South India. So they are growing rice. Now if somebody calculates the actual cost, because for that water and electricity somebody is paying, it is not that it is coming from nothing, nothing comes free. So if you calculate the actual cost, including the cost of water, including the cost of groundwater, including the cost of pollution, including the cost of everything, then the cost of production is not cheap. It is very costly. And then you are not in a position to compete with others. So this is second. Third one is the requirement of the preference of different countries are different. Different countries, for example, if you go to Middle East, they want basmati rice. If you go to Thailand and this side, they want sticky rice. Now if you have to export, you have to produce the crops what they want, not what you want. Now if I like something, but then that doesn't mean that they will be liking the same thing. So then you have to change your production system the way they require and they like to get it. For last 2-3 years we have started including these kinds of courses also, teaching students to know global agriculture. Because our students need to be equipped with this. They should know which country requires what kind of crop and something like this. And then only our agriculture and our farmers should be trained and all these things can be given so that they will be growing crops not for their requirement but for requirement of other countries. And that's how many countries operate. So these are few of the things, and when government of India, because they have to take the whole aspects into consideration, after deciding all of these things, they come to a conclusion of whether to ban export or to promote export or to subsidize export or whatever it is to be done. So this is, the subject is a little complex, but then this is how it operates. Thank you. Thank you for asking this question.
Talk was majorly focusing on various technologies for the next generation sequencing. And maybe on a lighter note, you also even downplayed the genetic potential of the crops also. My question is, in this context of next generation technologies for the future India, do you also think that our agriculture education system also needs a paradigm shift?
100%. I shall send you one of my presentations which I made, I think, just last month, of transforming agriculture education in India. There are several things which we really need to change, and we have to change it very quickly. As all those things which are changing, if you just see the student's profile, in last even 5, 6 or maybe 10 years, you will see that students' profile has also changed. When I was studying my BSc Agriculture in Banaras Hindu University, that time out of 60 students, there was only one girl student. Only one, 59 plus 1. And she was from Manipur. Today you enter into any UG class, it will be 50-50 or maybe more than 50% or so. This is one very positive change. Second one, I have also seen at that point of time, students mostly from rural background would come to study agriculture. But now students from every background are coming to study agriculture. At that point of time, as I said, productivity was the only objective. But now it is not productivity. It is value addition, post-harvest processing, marketing, so engineering, quality, nutrition, all of these things are required. You cannot sell whatever you produce, no. Now market is very choosy. They will not purchase anything and everything from you. So when all of these things are changing, and if our students are to address and face all those challenges, then certainly they need to change. Now most of the business, including production, is done by some private, industries and so on, including fertilizer, pesticides, processing, marketing, and their requirements are totally different. So today's agri-education and today's students have to be much smarter, much more knowledgeable, much more diversified, very technology savvy, all kinds of requirements we need to have. And how they can get all of this? From the university or from the college. So we really have to change it. How best and how quickly we will be able to do that, it's of course a very big question. But we have to do that. Already things have started changing. It is not that things are not changing, but then this is one of the prime requirements. And to do that, not only the students have to change, the teachers also have to change. Our knowledge also, those who are going to teach in the class, our knowledge also has to be changed, it has to be improved. I cannot go with same knowledge which I used to have around 20 years back. Today's students are much smarter, much knowledgeable, and I'm not saying that because students are sitting in front of me. I really believe it. I really think that today's students are much smarter, much more informative, much more intelligent than what we used to be at our time. So when you are going to teach smarter and more intelligent students, you also have to be more intelligent and more knowledgeable. And that responsibility is with us. How we can do it, that is of course we have to decide. But we have to do that. Thank you very much for asking this question. Very tough one, but we have to do that.
Sir, our agriculture have...
Oh yeah.
Even though Indian agriculture have came this forward, still many farmers are following traditional methods due to their beliefs, culture, etc. So, how can we integrate this traditional farmers made varieties with our modern plant breeding techniques in order to attain a sustainable agriculture?
Very good. Very important. What I all the time say that in Indian agriculture we really have to integrate the traditional knowledge, conventional aspects and also new technology. Whether you do it in every field is not the requirement. Every field has to be, all modern techno. There are scope for many areas where traditional farming will be very, very good. If I do not need more than 2 tons per hectare, and if that 2 tons per hectare is going to give me more or less similar price because of high price of organic products and natural farming products, then why I need to produce 5 tons per hectare? So there is opportunities and scope for everything. The problem is whenever we say traditional, we think this is outdated, this is not good. No, this is not like that. Those are very good. There are several things which even today also we should learn and we should adapt. We should refine probably to get the best out of it. So there is enough opportunities either to integrate, bring them together, or in different crops in different places, let both the go simultaneously, let somebody follows. And you know, another very important point for Indian agriculture, every farmer does agriculture for profit is also not true. There are many farmers who are doing agriculture not to make money. They are doing it for their consumption and for their, it is culture. Let me give my example. We have got some land, not hundreds of hectares, but then some land is there. We do agriculture, growing rice and few others. But at this point of time, to be honest, I do not want money out of that agriculture. The money which I get from my salary and everything, that is sufficient for me. But still I want to continue that agriculture for 2 or 3 reasons. If an economist comes and asks me, why are you doing agriculture? It is a losing one. Every year you are losing few thousands. Why can't you sell this? Can I sell that? No. Even if I have to, make loss for maybe many more years, still I shall not sell that, because this is my ancestral, my grandfather and great-grandfather, they have cultivated that land. I am not doing it only to earn few thousands or so. So this is one, I shall do whatever it is done. Second one is, it is healthy, it is good, it gives me satisfaction, it gives me, new motivation, my attachment to the land increases. I will be doing that. So that is another reason that I will be still doing traditional kinds of agriculture. So Indian agriculture is a very complex subject. You cannot have only 1 or 2 indicators to define Indian agriculture. Always do agriculture to make money? No. Always to do agriculture to export? No. Always to do agriculture with traditional or all high-tech? No. You have got all kinds of opportunities. That's what some people say, that Indian agriculture, there is nothing like absolute truth or absolute false. Everything will be having some space somewhere to work. In some space it is very good, in some other space it might not be so good. But then it is so diverse that you can have almost every opportunity to do everything in Indian agriculture. Now what is best for you is, of course, you have to decide. And that's how it will continue. So all of you can try your traditional, your conventional, and as well as also all high-tech kinds of things. Or you can combine all of these things. But let that diversity remains. Let us not bring uniformity. In this country, uniformity is neither possible nor expected. We are diversified, and let it be like that. Thank you. Thank you for this question.
Good afternoon, sir. Today, my name is Arnab Bhattacharya, and my question is that due to altering of climate, sir, there may be altering of nitrogen cycle and can be deficiency of nitrogen is also, nutrients is also there, sir. So how can it be solved, means after some years? Because nutrition is the main prominent thing that we all need. So how can we solve that problem due to altering of climate?
Good. Very good question. Nitrogen is anyway deficient. Deficient when we expect very high yield. And I gave you 2 tons and that's 5 tons yield. So if you want to achieve higher amount of yield, then certainly it is going to be deficient. And with climate change, what is climate change? Of course, climate change is my research area, so if I start talking about it, I need another hour for you, but I'm not going to take that one. So, because of increased amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is a substrate for photosynthesis. So because of that elevated carbon dioxide, crop will grow, but it will grow provided you provide other nutrients like nitrogen. If you do not have nitrogen, then you cannot get higher yield. So you have to apply more and more nitrogen. And unfortunately, because of increasing temperature, that nitrogen availability is also going to go down. Soil health is going to deteriorate. So this is another problem. Crop needs more nitrogen, but the supply, the demand is more, but the supply is going to be less and less. So you have to match these gaps. You have to balance these gaps. Now how to do that? There are several ways, but let me give you one very good, data of how efficiently we use nitrogen. We are very, very inefficient in using nitrogen. Very inefficient. An economist will certainly blast us. You know the data? If you produce 100 kg nitrogen in a factory, 100 kg, crop takes only maximum 35% of that. And we say nitrogen use efficiency is 35%. Crop takes 35%. But then after harvesting that crop, there is several processes. We transport it, we process it, we cook it, and then we consume it. If you go up to the consumption level, out of 100 kg produced, only 14 kg comes to our stomach. 1/4. 86% is lost. So the actual efficiency is only 14%. And that too if you are a vegetarian. If you are a non-vegetarian, then that efficiency is only 4%. 96% is lost. So by any means we can reduce this loss in every step. Then with the amount of fertilizer which is now available, it is going to produce double of these crops. If we can reduce this, but then it is not so easy. But then there are several other ways by which you can increase this efficiency. I gave one or two examples like precision agriculture, sensor-based application. We all the time say 4 R's, right time, right method, right place, right dose and all kinds of things. So there are certain ways, even some efficient varieties are also being developed now. The varieties which are more efficient in harvesting nitrogen from soil. So all these new technologies, but then those are going to be next generation technologies. So traditional as well as next generation technologies can be combined to enhance the use efficiency of nitrogen. And similarly for other nutrients also. Nitrogen just gave one example as you asked it. So but it is true for other nutrients as well. So opportunities are there and we have to adapt all those technologies. Thank you. Good.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I am Ramya M from the Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry, and I have doubt that now we are living in an era of sustainable agriculture, but most people often forget the importance of the soil life of soil, that is the soil carbon. And what, according to you, sir, is the efficient methods that can be adopted to efficiently sequester carbon so that the carbon input is increased for next generation agriculture?
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Madam, I think you have to give me a job here actually, so that I'll be taking few classes and then discuss with all the students. Good question. There were two broad schools of thought in soil management or crop management. One thought says, let us fertilize the crop. Soil is just a medium. Do not disturb it, do not bother much about it. You take care of the crop. So fertilize the crop. Whatever crop needs, you apply it. If you can apply through foliar application, do that. If you apply through soil, do that. Soil is not your concern. Crop is the concern. By doing that, there are several technologies by which the efficiency can be increased. Other school says, fertilize the soil. Because if you can fertilize the soil, then that soil will be producing all nutrients, microbes, macro, secondary nutrients, and then it will be good. Now, when you talk of sustainable agriculture, then the second one, fertilize the soil, take care of the soil. That is crucial. And when you say fertilize the soil means take good care of soil with carbon and everything, nutrient and everything. That is going to be very, very crucial. And therefore, whatever sustainable agriculture practices we do, one major objective should be to improve soil health. And to improve soil health, if there is one parameter by which soil health can be defined, that is soil organic carbon. If you can improve soil organic carbon, then its nutrient supplying capacity will be better, its other properties will be better, its microbial activities will be better, and all other parameters more or less will be better. So having more and more soil organic carbon should be one of the prime reasons. Then there are of course several ways to do that. Regenerative agriculture I talked about, conservation agriculture I talked about, organic farming, natural farming, all of these have got their potential roles as well as some kinds of challenges to address. But this is going to be very, very crucial. Soil health, particularly soil carbon, enriching soil organic carbon, so that the soil health will be better, and of course crop health also will be better. You know, nowadays there is a concept of one health. You know what is one health? One health means if you want good crop, so the soil also has to be good. If the health of soil is not good, the health of crop is not going to be good. If the health of crop is not good, then the health of animal is not going to be good. And if the health of crop and animals are not good, then health of human being are also, because we are depending on this. So if you are consuming something which is not healthy, how can you expect that my health will be better? All these healths are very closely connected. If one is disturbed, the other is going to be disturbed. In Hindi or in Sanskrit, what we say that jal is water. Jal, jamin is land. So jal, jamin, jalbayu, jungle, janwar, janta, jivan. These are all connected. If you disturb one, other will be disturbed. And we have to see it in that totality. By managing only one link of the whole chain, you cannot have a very strong chain. You know, there is a saying would say that the strength of the chain is in its weakest link. So if one link is very weak, then the remaining chain is very strong. That doesn't make the chain strong. The chain still remains very, very weak because of that one link out of hundreds of links in the chain. And that's how it is connected. Thank you. Thank you very much.
As we are running short of time, now we are forced to permit only 2 more questions. Be quick, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I heard that genetically modified plant could not be taken in the organic farming. If so, if a genetic variety which is high yield and disease resistant can be taken in organic farming, it will enrich the nutrient value. And it could be better having 2 desired quantity. Having 2 desired quantity is must be less than 3 desired quantity. What I mean, genetic variety with high yield and disease resistant, when we take it in organic farming, it will have one more desired quantity, that is nutrient value. It will enrich in nutrient value. What is your answer, sir?
Thank you very much. I don't know why you are asking all difficult questions today. Thank you very much for asking this question. You know, in this country, genetically modified crops are not allowed, except cotton. So no food grain, including rice, wheat or vegetable, these are not allowed in this country as of now. So a case is going on in Supreme Court, and in ICR we were also a party to that particular, case. So I will not be talking much about that because it is under the jurisdiction of Honorable Supreme Court. So genetically modified crops are not allowed as of now in this country. In several other countries, these are there, US, China, they are doing it. Scientifically, it will not be like this. Scientifically, a genetically modified crop can be grown either in organic farming or in conventional farming with fertilizer or without fertilizer, and it is going to perform accordingly. The way a conventional variety will perform, the GM variety also will perform, maybe in a little better way, depending upon what trait has been modified using genetic tools. So if that disease resistance has been there, again it can be. So cotton is very good example. So cotton, genetically GM cotton we are growing for last maybe several decades or so, and cotton is grown in a conventional way as well as organic way, and so we can do that. So that is nothing going to change out of that. But for organic farming, even if it is not GM crop, there are few ideas people say that organic farming doesn't give equal yield or higher yield compared to conventional farming. And there they say that probably we need some specific varieties which will be suitable to grow under organic farming kinds of situation. So that could be one. But variety as such is not going to make much difference. And just for our science knowledge, we talked about nitrogen and something. So any crop takes up nitrogen in the form of nitrate. Except rice also takes in the form of ammonium. So these are some of our knowledge which you've studied, UG, PG. So either it is NO3 minus or NH4. These are all soil science, soil chemistry kind of things. So please bear with us now. So NH4 plus or NO3 minus. Ionic form. And all the nutrients are consumed by plants in their ionic forms, not in the organic form or molecular form except one or two. Now that NH4 or NO3, whether it has come from an organic source, from FIM or from urea, crop doesn't bother. Crop cannot distinguish whether this NO3 has come from chemicals or from organic sources. If it is there in soil, it will take. If it is not there, it will certainly not take. And there comes the scientific basis of doing that. For crop, it doesn't make much difference because it will take in a similar way. But then when you go for chemical farming, chemical fertilizer beyond what is required, then there will be certainly other adverse impact in terms of pollution, nitrate pollution, soil deterioration. If you supply it through organic sources, then there will be good in terms of soil physical properties, and all those kinds of benefits are going to be there. But the problem is from where you are going to get so huge quantities of organic manure to support crop growth. These are some of the different questions, but for a plant or for any crop, it is not much different whether that nitrate has come from farmer manure or if that nitrate has come from urea. It will take it up. It will take it up and it will assimilate and it will transform itself into amino acid, protein and so on. That's how it works. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the highly active discussion. Now, as a token of appreciation, now we invite Dr. P. Harinarayanan, Senior Principal Scientist, KSC STE, to present a memento to Dr. Himanshu Pathak.
As a token of love from College of Agriculture, Pathak, we now invite our Dean, Dr. T. Sajidarani Ma'am, to present a gift basket of our distinctive coconut-based products to Dr. Himanshu Pathak, sir.
Thank you, sir and madam. Now, to formally conclude the proceedings, we invite Sri Chandra Pratap R, Scientist, KSCST, NATPAC, to deliver the word of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. I think it's almost, we are late, so I will shortly conclude the session. On behalf of the organizing committee of the 38th Kerala Science Congress, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this memorable program. First and foremost, my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, Director General, ICRISAT, for his wonderful speech on the history of agriculture, how MS Swaminathan contributed towards the change of the history of the agriculture in 1950 and how the growth happened thereafter. It was a wonderful speech, sir. Thank you. We also extend our sincere thanks to Dr. Sajida Rani, Dean, College of Agriculture, Pathak, for the warm words of welcome. And I also thanks Dr. P. Harinarayan for his thoughtful presidential address. He very well explained the activities of the 38th Kerala Science Congress, the growth of the Kerala Science Congress in the state of Kerala. I also give a special thanks to Dr. Sujana Paul for this inspiring introduction of the Dr. MS Swaminathan. Thank you, sir. Thanks to Professor Bindu for introducing the speaker to the audience. A special thanks to Dr. Mini Peke, Professor, College of Agriculture, for a special appreciation for your tireless coordination of the entire program with all the committee members, including all the, I think, all the staffs like associate professor, assistant professor, and research scholars, and also the students of the institute, and also the non-teaching staffs who are entirely dedicated themselves for the successful of this program. Thank you. Special thanks to Dr. Hebber, Director Central CPCRI, for accepting our invitation and his active presentation. I also thanks all the former Dean of the Institute and also all the professors who contributed mostly to the growth of the Institute. Thank you all. Particular acknowledgement goes to the College of Pathak, College of Agriculture Pathak, Kasaragod, for their exemplary hospitality and flawless arrangements, from providing the perfect venue and excellent facilities to their warm reception and logistical support. Your institution's commitment to hosting Kerala Science Congress is it's acknowledged by us. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Before we disperse, requesting all the participants to assemble for group photo.
അത് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് വായിക്കും. For your kind attention, here are a few important announcements. E-certificates will be sent to your registered email IDs. Kindly scan the QR code displayed at the registration counter outside the auditorium.
For updates on the 38th Kerala Science Congress, please follow our official social media handles and visit the Kerala Science Congress website. We encourage all the participants to complete their registration of Kerala Science Congress at the earliest.
Now we request all to please stand up for another group photo.